Hello, and welcome to day 3 of our online art lessons. In this lesson, we are going to be talking about ancient Chinese art and the importance of the dragon to the ancient Chinese culture. When you think of a dragon, you might think of a scary monster who breathes fire, right? That's not so much the case in Chinese art. The dragon has been an important symbol in the Chinese culture for thousands of years. The first images of dragons in China can be traced all the way back to 6000 BC. That's more than 8,000 years ago. Chinese dragons were depicted as long, snake like beasts who dwell in either the clouds or bodies of water, such as oceans or rivers. Since dragons are magical beings, they are able to fly without wings. These dragons were depicted as being kind and good natured. In Chinese culture, they symbolized good fortune, balance, and signaled royalty. These dragons were mostly associated with the rains, which bring life, and major water sources. In order to ensure a good harvest, farmers would make offerings to the dragons at specially created Dragon King temples. When parts of the country were suffering from drought, it was believed that the dragons were sleeping underground or in ponds. When the rain would come in the springtime, people thought that this meant the dragons were waking up to create the rain. According to the Chinese zodiac, every 12 years is the year of the dragon. It is said that people born in the year of the dragon are confident, impulsive, strong, and decisive. They are also natural born leaders. Before we start our art project, take a moment to research your birth year to see if you were born in the year of the dragon. So our project today is I'm going to teach you how to draw this Chinese dragon. This lesson is a little bit more advanced, so I'd recommend it for my 3rd through 5th graders, but of course if you are younger and would like to give it a shot, you are more than welcome to do so. And please remember, when we are done, I would love to see the art that you're creating, so make sure you email it to me and I'll leave my email down below. So for this lesson, all you are going to need is a piece of paper. This is taken from my sketchbook. You're going to need a pencil with a good eraser. Make sure your pencil has an eraser on it because you're going to need it. And these are the basic things you'll need, and I'm also going to show you how to advance it a little bit more. So in that case, you'll need a permanent marker or just a regular black marker and something to add color with. So our first step to create our dragon, we're going to create the plan of where we want our dragon to go. So our first step is over here at the edge of the paper. We're going to draw an oval, and make sure you draw it light because remember, you need a good eraser. This is why. And then we're going to add a line. So this is kind of like our plan for our drawing. So here's where we'll put the head, and here's where our body will go. This is going to help us sort of guide where we need to put things. Now this part is a little bit tricky. We're going to form the shape of the face. So what I think would probably be easiest is to create a sort of U shape right here. And remember, you can always pause my video if you need a few minutes to just look at what I'm doing. Create our head shape. I'm going to add a few little sort of spikes right here for the nose. And now we're going to go in for our mouth. And you want a nice wide open mouth so we can add in those teeth. So we have the shape of our head. Here's the nose, the opening of the mouth. We could add some sort of, I guess it's hair, going out from our dragon. And see how my lines are kind of sticking around this oval that we drew? So remember, this is our guide, so we don't get a lopsided head. And remember, your hair does not have to flow in the same direction that mine does. So we drew the top of our head, we drew the little fur on the nose, the nice open mouth, some hair kind of going back that looks like it's blowing. Now we're going to do just the bottom of the mouth. So here's sort of his chin. We're just adding some more hair down here. Maybe some flowing backwards. And then maybe some right here on his little cheek. So there we have the shape of our head. Now we are going to add the shape of our body. So remember, this was our line. This is going to be kind of the center of our dragon. So first we'll draw his back. So to the left of that line, you're just going in the same direction. We're going to go up, down, and then back up on this side, getting a little smaller at the bottom of the tail. And now we're just going to do the same thing on the other side. So following that line on the other side, and there's our body. Now, remember we talked about needing a good eraser. So now we're going to erase our guidelines. So we're going to erase that line that goes down the center of our dragon's body. Only keeping the lines on the side. And then we could erase the little oval around our dragon's head because we don't need that guide anymore. So now that we have our dragon's head and our body ready to go, it's time to add on our legs. Chinese dragons don't typically have wings, so we're not going to be adding wings, just a couple legs. So up here, we'll do sort of a curved line, kind of like you're drawing a rainbow, and then it just dips down. And then we're going to do a curved line at the bottom, and now we just need to add our fingers. You want to make sure those fingers are pointy, because dragons typically have claws. So 4 pointy claws. There's one arm. And then we're going to add another arm down here with a U shape like this. A smaller U shape right below it. And then 4 long claws. And then we'll just take our eraser and we're going to erase these little lines that are going through the legs. So now we have our dragon's head, our dragon's body, our legs, and let's add the tail. This dragon is giving me sort of a fiery sort of vibe. So I'm going to give him a little flame tail. Your tail doesn't have to be a flame tail. If you want maybe a water dragon, you can make it a wave tail or whatever you want your dragon to look like. So I'm just going to give him these sort of little details. And for my fire, I think I'm going to add a few little things down here to make it look like the fire's kind of going off of him. So now we have our head, our body, our legs, and our little tail. And now we're going to add the face of our dragon. So we're going to start back here at the back of the mouth. I'm going to draw a sort of wavy line for the tongue. So we'll start with the tongue. We'll add a few little teeth down here. A few teeth at the top. And now it's time for an eye. going to do a line kind of like this. Another one that goes down. And then I think it would look good to add maybe a little eyebrow, kind of like dogs have. And then we'll add our lines for our pupils. I have our face, our legs, our body, our tail. Now I'm going to add some scales along the dragon's back. Now watch how I do the scales along the back, because our dragon does do a little twisty thing. So we want to make sure our scales are on the right side of the dragon all the way down. See how I'm going at the top of the dragon? Because if we go down here, then this is like the belly of the dragon, and we want the scales to stay at the back of the dragon. So we have our head, we have our body, we have our legs, our tail, and our back scales. Now the only thing left to do is add some scales on the dragon's body. You could fill up the whole dragon if you wanted to. I wanted to save room for color. So what I did was I just sort of added these sort of V shapes, kind of at random along the back of my dragon. This gives him the illusion that he has some scales on his back. Ooh. Without me having to draw in every single scale. And there we go. We have our finished Chinese dragon. If you want to stop here, you only have a paper and pencil, or you ran out of time, you could definitely stop here. I'm going to show you a pretty easy trick that I do with most of my art when I'm working in pencil. I take a Sharpie and I outline all of my pencil lines. So I'm going to speed it up real quick while I outline all of my pencil lines, and then I'll bring it back together to show you why I do this. And there we have my finished Chinese dragon. So I think you could tell in this video, I outlined it with my Sharpie, but you can still see some of those pencil lines. I like outlining it with Sharpie when I'm done, because for one, it makes it look a lot more finished and professional, in my opinion. And it's also a lot easier to erase those pencil lines that you don't like in the background. So I could take, here's my eraser that I'm going to use. It's just a regular eraser. And then I could just go through right on top of that Sharpie and erase any pencil lines that I might have left. And since it's on top of the Sharpie won't move, and it's just making it a lot easier and quicker for me. And there you have it. There's our finished Chinese dragon. All you have left to do now is color it if you would like to. In my original, I used watercolors. I used only red and yellow on my dragon, and then it sort of blended to create that orange, if you want to use the same technique that I did. Or you could use crayons, color pencils, markers, whatever you happen to have at home. So please remember, when you are finished with this project, please send it my way so I could check it out. I would love to see your art. I'll put my email down below. The email down below is my regular email. If you are one of my students, you can go to our school website and find my school email as well. So this was our third ancient art project, and I will see you guys tomorrow for our last one.